Oh yes, Sunday morning breakfast, sunny side up eggs and crispy bacon. Well, what did you expect, Sonic? We always have sunny side up eggs and crispy bacon for Sunday breakfast. And what better way to enjoy that than in our blue and white bathrobes? Oh yes, can't go wrong with that. Shay, what have we got on the schedule for today? Well, Shadow said he was gonna come over to 76 Knothole Drive for something. He didn't say what it was, though. And what are David and Calvin up to today? David and Calvin wanted to go on a quote-unquote Wolves Day Out, consisting of going to the mall, eating really spicy wings at Buffalo Wild Wings, and going back to Calvin's apartment wearing their blue and red bathrobes and do a Stranger Things marathon. And they're not gonna drop by here? We don't know yet, Sonic. I got that. Alrighty then. Hello there, Sonic. Hey, Shadow, what's cooking? Please don't ask me what's cooking. I'm not in the mood for your childish shenanigans. Hey, Shadow, would you like some sunny side up eggs and crispy bacon? I already had breakfast, Sonic, and it was disgusting. Pancakes with expired whipped cream, rotten strawberries, and expired syrup. Not to mention expired pancake mix. Ouch. And you won't believe who cooked them. Those were the only kinds of ingredients we had in the fridge, Shadow, and the supermarket wasn't even open yet. You can't cook for shit, Silver. Remember when you made cheeseburgers for us? I asked for mine to be medium well, and you practically burned the fucking shit out of them. And don't get me started on those chili dogs. They were cold as shit. If Gordon Ramsay were to eat your cooking, he'd be vomiting up a storm. Fuck off, John Wick the Hedgehog! Oh ha ha! Is it because I'm being voiced by Keanu Reeves in Sonic the Hedgehog 3? Well, yes! Would you prefer I call you Neo? Well, I am the ultimate life form, and therefore, I am the one. Whatever you say, Ted! Fuck off, Bill! So anyway, I want to address the elephant in the room here. Why the fuck are you wearing your bathrobes? Because we love wearing bathrobes. How often do you wear yours? Once a month. Dude, you've got to wear your bathrobe more often. It's true, Shadow! Stay out of this, Silver! I stopped wearing it because you keep pulling the Ghost of Shadow's bathrobe bullshit every fucking time! Now get out of here, Silver! The business I have here is with the Hedgehog twins only! Not for pot-headed porcupines like you! Fuck off, Shadow! Anyway, I have an assignment for you both. What is it, Shadow? I have a video game I'd like the two of you to review. Is it what I think it is? If you're thinking Shadow the Hedgehog, then yes. Is it because of Sonic X Shadow Generations and your upcoming appearance in Sonic the Hedgehog 3? No fucking shit, Sonic! Keanu Reeves as Shadow is the best casting choice since Jim Carrey as Eggman and Ben Schwartz as me. Even though Keanu Reeves was mentioned by name in the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and a clip from Speed was shown. That right there was a sign. A foreshadowing, if you will. God damn it, Sonic! Now the next question is, do you want to review Shadow the Hedgehog with us? Alright, since I had nothing better to do today, I'll go ahead and review it with you two. And don't you keep making John Wick references all throughout this video! But first, you're not wearing proper video game review attire. Do I have to? David and Calvin wore theirs when we reviewed Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings, and Sonic Superstars. Alright, if it makes you too happy, Chaos Control! Now, let's see how long it takes him to get back. Sonic, you know what to do. Did Sonic just whistle the Jeopardy theme? Yes, I did. Remind me to smack the bathrobe off of you as soon as we're done here. Please don't. I happen to love my bathrobe. Of course, Sonic had to go with a white bathrobe because he wants to impress the ladies. Is that it? No, my foster mother Gemma had a white bathrobe, and I saw pictures in magazines of men wearing white bathrobes, so I immediately wanted to go for a white robe. And you've seen a bunch of movies and TV shows involving male characters wearing white bathrobes? Yep, I knew it. As good as you look in a white bathrobe, Sonic, we're losing time here. So if you want to review this game, we better want to get it out of the way soon. Who wants to start? I will, since it's my solo game. But anyway, let's get started. Shadow the Hedgehog is a 2005 spin-off game where I am the main star. It was released on the Xbox, the GameCube, and the PlayStation 2. This game was released on the exact same day as Sonic Rush on the Nintendo DS. A game I wasn't in. We're not going to review Sonic Rush on this channel, or Sonic Rush Adventure. Nobody needed to know that, Sonic. This game follows Shadow, who was created by Eggman's grandfather Gerald Robotnik, as he learns about his past while suffering from amnesia, basically turning him into Jason. If you compare me to Jason Bourne, I will go into the kitchen and squirt ketchup on your bathrobe, Sonic! Don't you dare. Then don't compare me to Jason Bourne, or John Wick, even though Keanu Reeves is voicing me in Sonic the Hedgehog 3, but still! This was also the first game to feature the cast from the 4Kids dub of Sonic X. Back when Sonic and I were voiced by the same person. Well, right now, all three of us are voiced by the same person. Thank you for that, Deadpool. And for the record, I was voiced by a guy named David in Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Heroes, and Sonic Battle for the Game Boy Advance. Just like how right now, I'm being voiced by a guy named David. Who's Deadpool now? Fuck off, Sonic! Also, this game had me using guns and other kinds of weapons, all in an attempt to make me edgy and give the game a darker tone compared to other Sonic the Hedgehog games. And I'm guessing Sonic uses guns because of this game. Oh, you mean where I only use a gun for emergencies? Well, I hate to break it to you, Shadow, but I winded down on using guns, and so is Sonic. I mean, I still use guns from time to time, but nowadays, my weapon of choice is the Golden Eagle Blade Mark II. After Shadow the Hedgehog, I stopped using guns, and I went back to my regular ass-kicking roots. If you ask me using guns is nowhere near as bad as Sonic using a sword in Sonic and the Black Knight. Oh haha, fuck you, Shadow. It's true, that was the only time you held a weapon in a game, other than every Smash Bros. Item ever, and the guns you only use for emergencies. I would never be caught dead holding a gun in a game, thank you very much, but in these projects, I only take it out if I must. Also, this is the only Sonic the Hedgehog game to have characters use curse words, such as me saying damn when describing the 4th Chaos Emerald, among other things. I guess that was an attempt to make me all edgy, like the fucking Terminator. Sonic said damn once in the game. Yeah, that was the only time I swore in a game. But outside of the games, I know a shit ton of fucking curse words. Damn, hell, shit, fuck, cocksucker, bitch, piss, dick, bastard, pussy, ass, cunt. Okay, Sonic, that word is not allowed on this channel. Just because it's Billy Butcher's favorite word to say on Amazon Prime's The Boys doesn't mean we're allowed to say it on this channel. This is a Carrie Underwood's Nightly Tour free zone. Sonic and I made it a rule never to say that word under any circumstances. The farthest we'll ever go in terms of swearing is fuck. And despite our abundant uses of the word fuck, our videos are still classified as PG-13. I beg to fucking differ. Remember the war against the Dark Brotherhood of Solaris? That project was rated R, and so is the one where Sonic burned his medicine and attempted suicide. Yes, Silver and I both know about your suicide attempt from 2019. And you didn't bother to come visit me at the hospital? Silver and I had some important business to take care of then. Also, just because I'm the ultimate life form doesn't mean that I don't have a sensitive side. There's a group text between Sonic, Silver, and I, and when Sonic told us that you burned your medicine and attempted suicide, Silver cried harder than I ever heard him cry in my life. And frankly, so did I. Because I never want anyone, no matter who it is, to go through with suicide. Not even you, Sonic! Thanks, Shadow. You are never alone, Sonic. Never. Just remember that. If there's anyone you need to talk to aside from your brother, your girlfriend, David, or Calvin, know that I'm here for you too. And Silver, even though he's a dickhead. Thanks, Shadow, but I think we should really get started. Right, so all introductions aside, let's dive right into the game that made me the ultimate edgelord. This is Shadow the Hedgehog. the iconic opening cutscene from Shadow the Hedgehog, featuring the song I Am All of Me by Crush 40. There's gunshot sounds on the main menu screen to show that this game pulls no punches when it comes to Shadow using guns. Also, this game is very repetitive because there's 10 different endings you can unlock before you unlock the final story. You can unlock them in any order you wish. You can be all good or all evil. And Sonic serves as one of the final bosses. Because I'm Obi-Wan and Shadow is Anakin. Oh ha ha, Sonic the Hedgehog with his Star Wars references. Remind me to smack the bathrobe off of you as soon as we're finished here. You would not believe how many times you have to play through Westopolis. It's literally the opening stage for every playthrough as you unlock all 10 endings. And there are 3 ways you can finish the stage depending on whether you want to go for the good ending, the bad ending, or just stay neutral. The opening cutscene is just me standing in a park in Westopolis, suffering from amnesia following my quote-unquote death in Sonic Adventure 2, and how I was brought back to life in Sonic Heroes. Shadow keeps having recurring images of Eggman's cousin Maria Robotnik. Sonic! Only I am allowed to say her name. Not you, and not Sonic. Maria, I've just met a girl named Maria, and suddenly the name will never be the same to me. Maria, I've just kissed a girl named Maria, and suddenly I found how wonderful a sound can be. Maria, say it loud and there's music playing. Say it soft and it's almost like praying. Maria, I'll never stop saying Maria. Knock it off, Sonic! Silver dared me to sing that song from West Side Story, and it was embarrassing! How do you solve a problem like Maria? How do you catch a cloud and pin it down? How do you find a word that means Maria? A flippity gibbet, a will-o'-the-wisp, the clown. Many a thing you'd like to tell her. Many a thing she ought to understand. But how do you make her stay and listen to all you say? How do you keep a wave upon the sand? Oh, how do you solve a problem like Maria? How do you hold a moonbeam in your hand? Are you two done singing 60s musical numbers? Yes, we are done singing 60s musical numbers. However, don't you dare! Beata Maria, you know I am a righteous man. Of my virtue I am justly proud. Beata Maria, you know I'm so much purer than the common, vulgar, weak, licentious crowd. Then tell me, Maria, why I see her dancing there, why her smoldering eyes still scorch my soul. I feel her, I see her, the sun caught in her raven hair is blazing in me out of all control. Enough with the singing! Shall we, Shadow? I've had it up to here with you two. Now can we please get back to the game review? The main villain in this game is Black Doom. He's the leader of the Black Arms. Doom's Eye is an extension of Black Doom who keeps an eye on Shadow in hopes that he will return to the complete dark side and destroy everything in his wake. Sometimes I would help Black Doom and even Eggman, but for hero missions, I would help a plethora of our friends, like Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Rouge, Espio, Charmy, Vector, Amy, and Omega. And this was 1 year before Silver made his debut in Sonic 06. And believe me, those were the best days of my life where I didn't have to deal with Silver 24/7 365! Is this a recurring thing in these videos? You and Silver hating each other's guts? Yes, because there were times where Silver gets on my last nerve. However, Silver's girlfriend Blaze first appeared in Sonic Rush before she teamed up with Silver in Sonic 06. It sounds like you and Silver need some serious therapy. Be quiet, Sonic! Like we established, there are 3 different missions you can complete in a certain stage. There's the normal missions, where you stay neutral, Dark, where you turn into Darth Vader, and Hero, where you become an honest-to-God Jedi and smack Black Doom to smithereens. How many times are you gonna make Star Wars comparisons with this game? It's bad enough that people compare me to Jason Bourne, given that I had to deal with amnesia and not remembering a goddamn motherfucking thing, except Maria getting murdered in cold blood by gun, and my own fucking name! Yes, God, or Guardian Units of Nations, plays a very important role in this game, like they did in Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic X, Sonic 06, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and the Knuckles series. Yeah, where they captured me, Tails, and Donut Lord, and fucked up Rachel's wedding with Operation Catfish. The very first stage you play is Westopolis. You're gonna have to get used to this stage, because in order to unlock all 10 endings, you have to play Westopolis over and over again ad infinitum, and it can get tiring fast. Shadow bashing on his own game? Well, that's new. Yeah, well, not every game is perfect, not even my own solo game. I thought you'd be nothing but praise for a game called Shadow the Hedgehog. Well, most of Sonic's games have been mixed bags recently. Sonic Forces. My stages were all clunky, and the game was too short. Sonic and the Secret Rings. The controls were garbage. Sonic Free Riders. Don't get me started. Sonic Lost World. Why the hell would you need to hold down a button in order for me to run? The fucking Sonic Boom games. Okay, those games were fucking awful. See that? You're bashing on some of your own games. You could do that, but I can't nitpick my own game. Isn't that the point of reviewing a video game? Well, you're not wrong there, Shadow. Exactly my point, Sonic. Alright, so where were we? Right, Westopolis. But first, I want to say that the graphics for this game are terrible. I mean, I know it's a GameCube, Xbox, and PS2 game, but this game has terrible graphics. I mean, come on! Kingdom Hearts had better graphics for a PS2 game than Shadow the fucking Hedgehog. Also, did you know that Jeff Fowler, director of the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, is involved in this game? Yeah, Jeff Fowler served as part of the CGI movie production for Shadow the Hedgehog. He also directed a short film in 2004 called Go for Broke, but we'll save that for another time. There's a two-player mode which is a battle mode, but we're not here to talk about that, because all you do is pick a Shadow clone and shoot it out. In each playthrough, you play 6 stages and a boss, and after defeating the boss for each ending, there's a cutscene that plays where the 7 Chaos Emeralds surround Shadow, and Shadow has a revelation where he's Shadow the hero, Shadow the villain, or an android of Shadow, and it all ends with Shadow saying, "This is who I am." At the start of the game, you can't skip cutscenes, but when you go back to certain stages to unlock the other endings, you have the option to skip cutscenes, and some cutscenes have better graphics than the main game, just like Sonic 06. Now you don't need to complete every mission in each stage. All you really need to do is unlock all 10 endings. But who the hell thought it was a good idea to butcher the level design for these stages? I mean, it was trying to replicate the gameplay of Sonic Adventure 2, but it fell flat on its face. I think that's why Sonic's future games ditched the adventure-style gameplay for boost mechanics, starting with Sonic Unleashed. Anyway, Westopolis. But first, is it okay if Sonic and I use her name here? Fine, do what you must! The first cutscene for every playthrough is Shadow standing in the middle of a field, overlooking an alien invasion from the Black Arms. Apparently, it's the return of the Black Comet, which we will get to later. Shadow can't remember a fucking thing, except his name and Maria getting shot and killed by gun soldiers. In Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Maria will be played by Lila Brown, and of course Keanu as the voice of Shadow. And in this cutscene, I don't give two shits what happens to the humans. And then, in comes Black Doom promising me the truth about my past if I bring him the Chaos Emeralds. Then, I make it to the heart of Westopolis to complete one of 3 missions. The normal mission, find the Chaos Emerald. The dark mission, annihilate the gun forces. And the hero mission, drive off the black creatures. Let's show these black creatures that we mean business. Do you have any idea how racist that sounds? I was referring to the Black Arms, Shadow. But when you word it like that, it sounds like you're being racist. He's not wrong, you know. Can we please just continue on with the review? Sonic is right. Let's continue before I lose my temper. If Shadow is not holding a weapon, he can punch enemies with the attack button. That same button can be used to fire guns or use other kinds of weapons. And he can spin dash too, not to mention homing attacks. And you can walk between checkpoints to see if there's anything you've missed. And there's 5 keys lying around each stage. These are called secret keys. They can be used to open secret doors, only if you collect all 5 keys. Behind these doors, you will find a useful item. For example, there could be a hidden passage you can get through with a flying vehicle you can control. Others contain a ground vehicle or a special weapon. Yes, I can operate vehicles in this game. Not only do I use guns, but I can also use vehicles to get around certain stages like a jeep or a motorcycle. I'm the special hero character who helps Shadow in hero missions for a few stages, like Westopolis. And if I catch Shadow attacking gun soldiers while the hero mission is activated, I get pissed. Same with every other hero character who assists Shadow. And it's the other way around with the dark missions where Doomseye or Eggman gets pissed if Shadow defeats one of the good guys. There are 2 Chaos Emeralds in Westopolis. One you can find in the middle of the stage, and one they have to get to reach the goal for the normal mission. The camera in this game can be very clunky, and that's one of our main gripes with Shadow the Hedgehog, the controls and the camera. If you don't have good camera controls, then you don't have a good game. And when it comes to guns, you can have a good number of bullets, but I'm pretty sure a simple handgun can't carry 50 bullets. In games like The Last of Us or Uncharted, there's only a good number of bullets that each gun can hold. And you can only hold one weapon at a time in this game, and not multiple, like in Uncharted, The Last of Us, GoldenEye, or every other first or third person shooter game. You have to press a button when you're near another weapon to swap it out, which I think is bogus, because in Uncharted, you can hold 2 different guns at once. It's not like I'm the Terminator holding a bunch of guns at once. Sure, I can easily hold a Beretta in one hand and an AR-15 in another, but in this game, it's one weapon only at a time. Every enemy you have to fight has a health bar above their head, be it the Gun Forces, the Eggman Army, or the Black Arms. I think they borrowed that concept from Kingdom Hearts, where the enemies you fight take a certain number of hits with your Keyblade before they're defeated. The same can be said about the enemies in Shadow the Hedgehog. There are 2 bars on top of the screen, a red bar on the left and a blue bar on the right. The red bar fills up when you defeat the good guys, and the blue bar fills up when you defeat the bad guys. The red bar, when filled up, activates Chaos Blast, which blasts away enemies within a 20-foot radius. And the blue bar activates Chaos Control, which transports you further down the stage. I can also interact with objects, like lifting a bus and throwing it at enemies or obstacles. Now that I find to be unrealistic, because it's not like I can lift a boulder with one hand. I am not Knuckles! Speaking of unrealistic, melee weapons have ammunition. Like if you pick up a sword, that has a limited amount of uses. That's not how swords work, you jackasses! I should know because I held a talking sword in Sonic and the Black Knight. And I should know because the Golden Eagle Blade's blue glow doesn't go away whenever I hold it. And like we said, I can operate vehicles, like a Jeep. You have to hold down the jump button to accelerate, and steer the vehicle. However, this is not the only time I drive a vehicle in a Sonic game. I drove a Jeep in Sonic 06, and there's also Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, and Team Sonic Racing. Plus all 3 Sonic Riders games. After you complete the first stage, regardless of which route you go for, you get a cutscene at Gun HQ where one of the soldiers gives a report to the Gun Commander. The Gun Commander has one brown eye and one blue eye, but not unlike the Olive Garden guy from the Sonic the Hedgehog movies. And if you complete the normal mission, which is finding the Chaos Emerald at the end of the stage, Black Doom scolds Shadow for betraying him and walking away with 2 Chaos Emeralds. You are then transported to Glyphic Canyon, which can only be accessed by completing the normal mission in Westopolis. Here, the hero character who assists me is Idris Elba himself, Knuckles. Before you start up the game again after shutting it off, a narration from Shadow with text basically recapping his path depending on which missions you complete plays that you have the option of skipping. The same thing happened with Sonic Adventure 2 as I recall. And did we mention how god-awful the controls are in this game? Like, sometimes I end up in a place I really don't want to be. And don't get me started on vehicle segments. Some vehicles or creatures I ride are next to uncontrollable. Some might argue that the controls make this game entirely unplayable. Tell that to Sonic free riders. I can also use the lightspeed dash ability along rows of rings to get me to float above bottomless pits. This is a staple of modern Sonic games, something that Sonic can't do. Oh, be quiet, Shadow! It's true, that ability is not featured in your stages in Sonic Generations or Sonic Forces. And it's not featured period in Sonic Mania or Sonic Superstars. If you attempted that right now, your bathrobe would be as good as gone. And I know how OCD you get when it comes to keeping your bathrobe clean. That's why I never eat chili dogs while wearing this. And Sonic doesn't like getting his bathrobe dirty either. I can confirm that. Alright boys, let's focus here. Unlike most Sonic the Hedgehog games, you don't get an extra life for collecting 100 rings. After completing the normal mission here, which involves you collecting another Chaos Emerald, there's a cutscene that plays, taking place at what is pretty much the White House. For some reason, our country is called the United Federation and not the United States of America. The president, who for some reason is not George W. Bush by the time this game came out, vows to protect the country from the black aliens. And there's also a photo of Sonic and Shadow in his office. Sonic, we never talk politics on this channel. That's the #1 rule of this channel. I thought our #1 rule is to never say certain words, like Billy Butcher's favorite word in The Boys. Well then this is the #2 rule. We're not even allowed to mention Barack Obama, Donald Trump, or Joe Biden without an angry mob surrounding 76 Knothole Drive. Sonic, you literally just name-dropped presidents. Fuck! Anyway, another stage is Prison Island, where I suddenly get flashes of my repressed memories of how it was created and all that. The hero who assists me here is Charmy. In case you're lost and confused, here's the list of stages and bosses. Westopolis is the first one, which you're gonna have to get used to. The second stages are Digital Circuit for completing the Dark Mission, Glyphic Canyon for staying neutral, and Lethal Highway for completing the Hero Mission. And if you fail the Hero Mission in Lethal Highway, you get to hear me say damn. But that shit is not the only cuss word that I fucking know. Sonic, we need to have a serious talk about your language. Says you. Your swearing is worse than that of Deadpool. Oh yeah? Well, your swearing is worse than that of Ellie from The Last of Us. Are you fucking kidding me? I thought you compare my swearing to every South Park character ever. Same fucking difference. Where did you learn how to swear, Shadow? From Professor Gerald Robotnik, no less. When I was created on the space colony Ark, Maria had to leave the room every time Professor Gerald swore. And I picked up a few colorful words along the way. And where did you learn how to swear, Sonic? By watching Speed non-stop. By Speed, are you referring to the movie where Dennis Hopper plants a bomb on a bus that blows up when it goes below 50 tails? Oh haha, miles per hour. Very fucking funny, Shadow. But yes, I learned how to swear by watching a bunch of R-rated action movies like Speed and Die Hard. And a bit of South Park and Family Guy as well. And I learned to swear just by listening to Sonic open his fucking mouth. You really are a bad influence on Sonic. Oh, really now? Anyway, you were saying about the full list of stages and bosses in this game? Regardless of which mission you beat in Lethal Highway, you have to fight a boss called Black Bull. The third stages are Cryptic Castle, Prison Island, and Circus Park. Circus Park is where we get the iconic quote from Shadow. Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald? Yep, that one. Don't make me say that again. Now that line has become nothing short of a fucking meme. You know, Shadow, for each movie or video game we review, there should be a fuck counter for every time one of us says the word fuck. Well, how many times has that word been used in this video? Did you keep track? According to my genius intellect, the F word has been used 31 times. Wait, you kept count of how many times the F word was used in this video? That's right. I'm so glad I have a genius as a brother. Plus, the creator of this video looked back on the script for this review and used a special feature to calculate exactly how many times a certain word is used. There should also be a whistle counter with you guys too, since almost every video on this channel features at least one character whistling. Even David the Whistling Show-Off. How many times have people whistled in this video, Sonic? 3. Holy crickets. Now it's 4. Yes, I'm that good. But anyway, the 4 stages. That's right, they're Central City, which is not the same city where the Flash lives. You mean Barry Allen? Yes, Sonic, I've read a bunch of Flash comics in the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Plus, we saw that awful Flash movie with Ezra Miller last year, and we reviewed it with David and Calvin. That Flash movie was straight up garbage. Abysmal special effects, using CGI to resurrect Christopher Reeve against his family's wishes, and Ezra Miller is a piece of shit. Later down the line, David nicknamed that movie The Flush. A well-deserved name for a movie that was supposed to reset the DC universe, yet everything about it was an eyesore. Well, except for Michael Keaton returning as Batman. That was the only good thing about The Flush. Also, fuck Ezra Miller! Well, would you look at that? An F-word counter! Back to 4th stages. There's the Doom, in which we got lost for hours. By completing that stage after what feels like hours, you fight Heavy Dog. And then there's Sky Troops and Mad Matrix. Mad Matrix takes place in a computer world, like Tron, but without light cycles or discs. I am not the only one who says damn in this game. There's Sonic, Knuckles, Espio, and the Gun Commander, who is clearly not the same sumbitch who has an Olive Garden fetish. By completing Mad Matrix, regardless of which path you take, you fight the Egg Breaker. The Egg Breaker appears after you beat either Cryptic Castle, Mad Matrix, or Iron Jungle. And then there's Death Ruins. After beating Death Ruins, you fight the Black Bull again. Now, on to 5th stages. There's the Ark, where Shadow explores the space colony Ark, and after beating that stage, you fight the Blue Falcon. And then we have Air Fleet, Iron Jungle, Space Gadget, and Lost Impact. And now, 6 stages. There's Gun Fortress, Black Comet, Lava Shelter, Cosmic Fall, and Final Haunt. And after that, the final bosses for each ending. Sometimes you have to fight against the egg dealer, sometimes you fight Black Doom, and there's some instances where you have to fight me and Diabolon. Yes, there are 3 instances where I had to pummel the shit out of Sonic and leave him for dead when all 7 Chaos Emeralds surround me. However, Sonic doesn't actually die here. Unlike Sonic, don't you fucking dare mention that one moment from Sonic 06! Clearly I'm not the only one who suffers from severe mental trauma. Yeah, no shit. I deal with PTSD and so has Sonic. Well, at least I didn't burn my medicine and attempt suicide. Sonic, knock it off! This is a video game review, not a therapy session! I'm sorry. It's just that years later, I'm not over what happened with Mephiles. Him killing me in Sonic 06, him torturing me with a poison dagger, not to mention that R-rated project where the Dark Brotherhood of Solaris resurrected him. And the events of Sonic Forces were no better. Same with certain events in Sonic Frontiers. I was practically in a coma due to cyber corruption in Sonic Frontiers, and Shadow didn't even appear in that game. That's right, Silver Knight had some important shit to take care of. Sometimes I just really need a hug after what I've gone through. I'm not a hugger, so Sonic, will you do the honors? Thanks, Sonic, I really needed it. Like we established, Sonic, if the 2 huggers are both wearing bathrobes at the same time, it's warmer than Olaf Swarm hugs. Get a room, you 2! Shadow, we're brothers. We both have girlfriends. I have Amy, and Sonic has Aurora. So yeah, that's every stage and boss in Shadow the Hedgehog. But the path to unlocking each stage is very convoluted. So I wouldn't recommend doing a completionist run where you complete every mission in every stage. You only need to unlock all 10 endings to unlock the final boss. And it doesn't matter what missions you complete. You can go an entire playthrough without completing certain missions, and it doesn't affect the gameplay in any way, shape, or form. And since this game was released on the original Xbox, the PS2, and the GameCube, there is no achievement or trophy system. So it wouldn't matter if you missed certain missions. You can finish the game without completing certain missions. That is how convoluted and messy Shadow the Hedgehog is. The game, not the hedgehog in the room wearing a red bathrobe. That's because you forced me to put it on! We didn't force you. You chose to put it on. You're not wrong there, Sonic. I haven't worn it in a few weeks, and I will admit, it feels nice to put it on every once in a while. That is, if Silver doesn't keep using the Force on it every other day. Fuck off, Shadow! While this game doesn't have the same number of endings as Life is Strange, Detroit Become Human, Heavy Rain, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Doki Doki Literature Club, or Undertale, the fact that this game has multiple endings makes the game very convoluted and messy. At least with games like Life is Strange, the choices you end up making can have either a positive or negative effect on the overall story of the game. Not to mention it feels smooth and consistent, and Life is Strange is an emotional roller coaster of a game, depending on the choices you make throughout the game. But in Shadow the Hedgehog, all 10 endings are required to unlock the final story, so it doesn't fucking matter how you complete certain stages. I have not played Life is Strange, but I have been getting recommendations from almost everyone, including Silver. Please do. The games have a very chill soundtrack that's very relaxing and it makes you feel good. And like Sonic said, these games are emotional roller coasters, especially the first Life is Strange. I won't spoil the game for those who haven't played it, but when you pick it up and play it, you will see for yourself. Is this an ongoing thing in your game reviews? Getting off topic by bringing up other video games and pop culture nonsense? Shadow has a point, Sonic. Let's continue. And of course, Shadow can grind on rails, just like in Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Heroes, and every other game where Shadow is playable. Sometimes the vehicles I operate can take damage, so be extra careful that you don't get stuck in a place you really don't want to be. And sometimes, there are turrets I can operate that put me in a first-person perspective and blow enemies out of the sky, such is the case with Eggman's airships in the Sky Troops stage. And when I ride one of the black creatures to fly around, the controls for that bit are fucking horrendous! Those flying segments are absolutely awful. Like, we kept losing control of where it ends up. Like, you have to press the jump button to accelerate, and it sends you in the opposite direction of where you want to be. With the Iron Jungle stage, it starts off with a cutscene where I see a bunch of shadow androids created by Eggman. And it makes me wonder if I'm an android too. I mean, take one good look at me. Do I look like a fucking android? No, you look like flesh and blood. Exactly! I am not the Terminator! Do I look like I have a robot underneath this flesh and blood? No! And do androids wear bathrobes? Hell no! But you can take a selfie of yourself wearing a bathrobe with an Android phone. Oh, believe me! Your Instagram page is full of bathrobe selfies, Sonic! I don't do a whole lot of selfies on my Instagram page. mostly my red neckerchief and sometimes my bathrobe. But Sonic, on the other hand, his Instagram page mostly consists of selfies of him either in his bathrobe or in his lab working on inventions. And when COVID first hit, he posted selfies of him wearing a mask. Don't get me started on those damn masks! Especially those gas masks that you gave us at the Battle of the Closing Ceremonies to protect us from the Rubik's Cube stun gas. Those were prototype gas masks, Shadow. They weren't meant to be worn for long periods of time. I made them to look like dust masks until I updated them to make them look like actual gas masks to protect us from poison gas in Balthazar the Belligerent's temple. Oh, believe me, the first time I had to wear a face mask in a public place was unbearable! Wanna know the very first time I ever wore a face mask in a public place? Was that when COVID was a thing? No, it was when I went to Metropolis University back when I was known as Sean. Sonic knows this, but Shadow doesn't. When I ran away from Sonic and I was adopted by Charles and Gemma, I used to have braces. Sonic with braces? I don't even want to begin to imagine Sonic with braces. The first day I went to my first ever science class was when Scourge was still a student at Metropolis University. Scourge would often bully me because of my voice and the fact that I had braces. He kept calling me names like Braceface and Jaws and Metal Mouth, so I ran home crying. And when Charles and Gemma went to work at Future Tech, I snuck into the basement looking for a way to hide my braces from the world. And then I saw a pack of disposable face masks, the ones that surgeons wore at the hospitals, and the ones that I've seen people wear around the city during flu season. So I grabbed one of the masks, put it on, and went to school. And did you ever get in trouble for wearing a mask at school? Almost. People kept asking me if I was sick when I was wearing a face mask to class. I said no. As weeks went on, I kept wearing a mask to school. And after one class, Professor Hanson brought me into his office and told me to take the mask off. I said no at first, but I reluctantly took off the mask and I showed him my braces. I told him that I wore the mask because I didn't want people to bully me because of my braces. He told me not to let Scourge bother me, that he's not a good person. So after that, I stopped wearing masks to school. I got my braces off when I was 13. I'm so sorry to hear that, Sonic. Yes, Sonic, it's all true. I wore a medical mask to hide my braces. When we started having to wear masks due to COVID, I was reminded of the time I wore a mask to hide my braces. I haven't worn a mask in a couple years, and I'd like to keep it that way. As would I, but let's get back to the game. You guys have a nasty habit of bringing the Sonic and Seanic lore into game reviews that really don't need it, and Shadow the Hedgehog is no exception. So yeah, some endings, Shadow calls himself Shadow Android as a result of Eggman gaslighting him, making him think that he's an android when in reality he's not. Which is why I don't have to put up with Eggman's bullshit anymore. I don't know how he got clones of me to join the side of evil in Sonic Forces, when the real me would never side with that motherfucker. Also, the frame rate of this game is fucking atrocious. Sometimes the game moves very slow to the point where it can be hard for you to have fun playing the game. Like Shadow is as fast as Sonic. He can't be slowed down by a game's engine. Exactly. Clearly Sega didn't have time to playtest this game to check for frame rate issues, and it's especially a problem if you're playing it on the PS2. Same with the PS2 version of Sonic Heroes. That's why the GameCube version of Sonic Heroes is superior to the PS2. Well, sorry that the dude voicing us, his first console was the PS2, and had it long before he got the Wii. He never had a GameCube, and he just played GameCube games on his Wii. Obviously, he wasn't thinking clearly when he decided to get Sonic Heroes on the PS2, let alone Shadow the Hedgehog. Also, whoever designed the levels in Shadow the Hedgehog should be fired from breathing. In Sonic Adventure 2, my gameplay was smooth, and it was an easy game for players to pick up. Shadow the Hedgehog, on the other hand, the controls are horrendous, the frame rate is atrocious, and the camera is dreadful. Not to mention the graphics are just about as bad as the special effects for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania and The Flush. And you can also press a button to go faster while grinding, something you couldn't previously do in Sonic Adventure 2. This mechanic was first introduced in Sonic Heroes, and it slowly went away in favor of the boost mechanics of Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Colors Ultimate, Sonic Generations, Sonic X Shadow Generations, Sonic Forces, and Sonic Frontiers. And then there's Sonic Lost World, where you had to hold a button in order for Sonic to run. Before moving on to other stages, there are mandatory boss fights, like we established. And these boss fights occur regardless of whether you complete the hero, dark, or normal missions. And sometimes, you can't even see where you're going because of not only the frame rate, but it's hard to see when there's so many explosions going on at the same time. And for most of the time, you have to use weapons to defeat bosses, such is the case with the Egg Breaker after beating Iron Jungle. I couldn't even see where I was going half the time because of so many damn explosions. Plus, rings are scarce in certain boss fights. I know you start with 10 rings, but if you run out of rings and you keep getting shot at, you're fucked. And since this game is darker and more mature than other Sonic the Hedgehog titles at the time, we had to add a fuck counter to this video. I wonder if we should do a shit counter too. No, absolutely not. We use the word shit way too many times here. I wasn't going to. And besides, we're only going to do the F-word counters here. You guys are really pushing it with the F-word counter. Just because I, as well as a few other characters say damn, doesn't mean that our review of Shadow the Hedgehog needs swear counters. I mean, is it really necessary? Well, outside of the Sonic the Hedgehog games, I am a potty mouth. And ever since Tail Switch voice actors on this channel, he's been swearing a whole lot less. Well, if we were talking about the regular games, the character who would most likely use curse words on a regular basis would be me. Not you, Sonic. But on this channel, you swear in literally every fucking video. See, Shadow? That's 42 fucks on this video. Now it's 43. I feel like you guys are trying to fill up the F-word counter rather than talking about a video game. Which is why I came over to 76 Now Drive in the first place! That is right, Sonic. Let's continue. There is a health bar on the bottom of the screen for each boss you go up against. Pay close attention to it, while also paying attention to your ring count and your ammo. Towards the 6 stages for each ending you try to go for, I start to get glimpses of my real memories, or distorted, depending on which endings you unlock. I even get flashes of the final boss fight in Sonic Adventure 2, where I gave my life to help Sonic and save the world. For the 6 stages, there is no normal mission. It's hero or dark. You have to do both to unlock every ending. Also, don't bother restarting stages, it just uses up lives. That is literally the case with a lot of Sonic games. No matter how frustrated you get with the game's poor level design, do not restart the stage. I can also do a triangle jump, where I leap between walls in order to get across gaps. The only other game this appears in is Sonic Heroes. And after each playthrough, you have to start a new game. This was way before New Game Plus was a thing in modern games like Sonic Frontiers. It can get frustrating and repetitive, but that's how convoluted this game is. You had to do this process 9 more times. Ha! You said 9, as in the Tails variant from Sonic Prime. Shadow the Hedgehog came out eons before Sonic Prime did, and way before Netflix became the king of all streaming services. So no, I was not referring to that sumbitch from Sonic Prime. I meant the number 9. I knew exactly what you were referring to, Shadow. You're gonna have to get used to a lot of these stages, because you have to keep revisiting them in order to unlock new endings. But again, you don't have to do every single mission in every single stage. You just have to unlock all 10 endings in any order you wish. So don't worry if you miss any missions during your playthrough of Shadow the Hedgehog. There's over 300 different paths you can take depending on the order of stages which you end up playing. But like we said, you only need to unlock the 10 endings. Not like this game has a trophy or achievement system where you get a platinum trophy for completing all 300 paths. No, this was eons before the trophy or achievement systems were first conceived for the PS3 and the Xbox 360. And one thing we forgot to mention, when either the red meter or the blue meter is filled to the max, you have unlimited ammo for a short amount of time. When it goes down, or it's used up, then you go back to having a limited amount of shots, and it makes you invisible for a short amount of time. Hell, you could even ignore certain stages in order to unlock the 10 endings. Like you could easily miss one stage and it wouldn't hurt you. But like the completionists we are, we played every single stage. You call yourselves completionists, but you don't complete every mission for every stage. I mean, you're not wrong, Shadow. You can ignore certain stages, and you can ignore certain missions. You just need to unlock all 10 endings in a gameplay experience that I can so rightfully call a fucking chore. Once you spend hours upon hours trying your damnedest not to zonk out, or sell the game to your local GameStop, you eventually unlock the last story. That means playing Westopolis for the umpteenth fucking time, completing missions no matter how ludicrous they are, get scolded by your allies for going after the wrong enemies for a certain mission, survive a bunch of poorly designed stages, get over atrocious controls, and mentally torturing yourself into putting so much blood, sweat, and tears into mustering up the energy to unlock all 10 endings. In all 10 endings, I end up with all 7 Chaos Emeralds, but in the final story, Black Doom uses Chaos Control to bring the Black Comet to the Earth's surface. Black Doom explains that the Black Arms intend to use humans as an energy source, and the Black Comet begins to release a nerve gas into the Earth's atmosphere that causes total paralysis to those who inhale it. So he can't move an inch while under the influence of the nerve gas, and he leaves us to be feasted on by creepy alien creatures. But Shadow is immune to the effects of the nerve gas. That's right, and around that point, I've had enough of Black Doom's bullshit, so it's up to me to pummel the shit out of Black Doom and save the universe. The next stage is called the Last Way. This stage has a time limit, and you have to reach the end in less than 10 minutes. Once I make it to the end of that stage, Black Doom reveals to me that some of his DNA lies within my veins, and he tries to take control of me. And I don't mean mental manipulation or gaslighting or any of that nonsense. No, I mean try to control me physically like a puppet. And then the Chaotix come to the rescue after Vector told you to find the computer room. Another iconic meme from Shadow the Hedgehog. The Chaotix pull up a video recording of Professor Gerald telling Shadow that the Black Comet would arrive 50 years after Shadow's birth. And that Shadow is the only one who can stop the Black Arms. Not me, not Sonic, not Calvin, not the Golden Eagles, Shadow. Thank you for that, Sonic. But the video of Professor Gerald literally goes viral across the world to reach the gun commander, the president who for some reason is not George W. Bush, and even to the ones frozen still by the nerve gas. Turns out that the Eclipse cannon aboard the space colony Ark was designed to destroy the Black Comet, even though it blew a hole in the fucking moon in Sonic Adventure 2. We then see that Shadow is immune to Black Doom's mind control, and then one final battle against Black Doom, where Shadow transforms into Super Shadow. You know what comes next, Shadow! Do I have to say the word? Yes, Shadow, it's pretty much a requirement. I said it every time I turned into Super Sonic in Sonic Frontiers, and Sonic said it a few times when we reviewed Sonic Superstars. Alright, if it makes you too happy, Shazam! That's right, Shadow turns into Super Shadow to take on the final boss of the game, which is Devil Doom. Please don't make me say Shazam again. It's clear that the Hedgehog twins are a couple of nerds who make references to Marvel and DC at every given opportunity. I mean, do I look like Billy Batson? No, you look more like Black Adam. He's got a point, Shadow. Say what you will, but me and Black Adam are nothing alike. Just because we're anti-heroes who get a redemption arc at the end doesn't mean that we're the same entity. I mean, yes, we're merciless killing machines from a bygone era who were brought into the modern day, now to face a threat and a bunch of heroes get in my way. And soon, I learned to team up with the heroes and take on a bland and forgettable villain. And thus, the world hails me as a hero, just like the ending of Black Adam. So, while I share some traits with Black Adam, that doesn't mean I am Black Adam, the same way that Sonic is not the Flash. Yeah, because the Flash got his powers from being struck by lightning, while I was born with my super speed. And I inherited Sonic speed! So anyway, I defeat the final boss, and I use Chaos Control to move the Black Comet back into space and activate the Eclipse Cannon to destroy it. And then, me and the other heroes celebrate Shadow's victory. And then the game ends with Shadow aboard the Ark, putting his past behind him and being a free hedgehog. Goodbye forever, Shadow the Hedgehog. And that's the end of the game. So, that was Shadow the Hedgehog. Okay, can I please take this damn robe off now? No, Shadow, not until we give the final verdict. It's the middle of summer. How are you two not sweating in those bathrobes? It's called air conditioning, Shadow. Plus, rain or shine, summer or winter, any time is a perfect time to wear a bathrobe if you're Sonic and Seanic. Whatever you say. This game is really bad, but it's far from being the worst Sonic the Hedgehog game out there. The controls were clunky and shows the camera, and the game is just a giant chore to get through. Plus, looking back, why would you give me guns? I don't use guns anymore. It was only one time, and I've always preferred my original method of kicking ass and taking names. Using Chaos Control and kicking the shit out of any motherfuckers who get in my way. Black Doom was a very forgettable villain, but we're going to be seeing him again in Sonic X Shadow Generations. Only this time, Shadow won't go back to using guns. The soundtrack of this game is very forgettable, except for the iconic song, I Am All of Me. That's the only song that anybody knows or remembers from Shadow the Hedgehog. This game has more endings than Life is Strange, and that's a bad thing. With Life is Strange, the lead up to the endings feels earned, and you face many hardships along your journey through Arcadia Bay and Max and Chloe's relationship. But here, it doesn't matter which endings you unlock. You have to unlock all of them in order to get the final story, and I find that to be ridiculous. Another way to compare this is Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. In order to unlock the final story, you have to play through it as Terra, Ventus, and Aqua. With Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Heroes, Sonic 06, Sonic Rush, and Sonic Rush Adventure, you have to play each character's story to unlock the final story. But in Shadow the Hedgehog, all you have to do is unlock all 10 endings. It's repetitive, it's convoluted, and it's just a huge fucking mess. It's a chore to get through, the graphics are terrible, the level design is horrendous, it's too dark for a Sonic the Hedgehog game, to the point where this game should have been rated T for teen. But no, they had to rate the game E10 for ages 10 and up. The only T-rated game to star me is Super Smash Bros. Brawl, even though I know enough curse words to warrant an M-rated Sonic the Hedgehog game. But all in all, this game is a mess. The controls and camera were awful, the level design is abysmal, and dare I say, for a game with me as the main star, it had potential, but in the end, it fell flat on its face. I'm giving Shadow the Hedgehog an F rank. Aw, Shadow, there is no F rank in Sonic the Hedgehog games. The lowest would be an E rank. Whatever, Sonic, an E rank. A Shadow the Hedgehog game is just about as necessary as a Yu-Gi-Oh spin-off centering on Seto Kaiba, if Seto Kaiba had a bunch of guns instead of a dual disc. I never thought I'd be bashing my own solo game, but I'm just not happy with how the game turned out. Like I said, it had potential, but it fell flat on its face. Shadow the Hedgehog is the video game equivalent of Black Adam and every Terminator sequel that came after Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Thanks for reviewing this game with us, Shadow. This is the only time I get to review a video game with you two. But if you guys end up reviewing Sonic the Hedgehog 3, you better not leave me out of it. Of course not. You're the main star of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Well, aside from this handsome blue bathrobe hedgehog you see before you. Yes, I get it. You look handsome in a bathrobe. Now I must be going. Hey Sonic, hey Shanik, how's it going? What is Shadow doing here? And why is he wearing his bathrobe? Sonic and Shanik asked me to bring my robe here, and I gave them a very important assignment. You reviewed Shadow the Hedgehog, didn't you? Why yes, David, yes we did. And you didn't invite us? Shame on you! Yes, I gave them an assignment to review Shadow the Hedgehog right before we got Sonic X Shadow Generations and Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And apparently, everybody wears bathrobes when it comes to reviewing video games. That's right. But anyway, I was just leaving. But first, let me take this robe off. I must admit, you look very nice in a bathrobe, Shadow. I don't wear it often, but when I do, it feels nice. Now, if you boys will excuse me, I must be going. So, now that Shadow left, what do you guys want to do? How about a Sonic the Hedgehog double feature? And a binge session of all 6 episodes of Knuckles? Sounds like a plan, Sonic!